Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games, and we are at the eve of the Hasbro Fireside chat. So, as of recording of this video, we're about 12 hours or so out from the actual chat. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be great. So, Wizard's gonna actually talk about Magic. We're gonna spend the whole, I don't know, hour, 2 hours on it, and they're gonna have to answer questions about Magic the Gathering. So, they can't really dodge it. The investor's going to come. They're going to ask why you're losing all my money, and they will have to give answers to questions that they're not comfortable probably answering. So it'll be interesting. I suspect there will be live questions. I suspect there will probably be some pre-recorded, pre-sent in questions anyways that they're going to maybe kick it off while people are kind of writing questions in, and their moderators have time to go filter through the questions from live chat or live audience. So before that happens, I did want to make some predictions on what's going to happen tomorrow. So overall, my overall prediction is going to be that by and large, it's not really going to change too much. They're going to give very candid answers. They're very, positive sounding. They're very or neutral. They're going to recognize and admit some mistakes, but in general, they're saying, hey, it's a mixed bag of good and bad. We're making mistakes here and there, and we're adjusting for that. And then on the spots where we're doing well, we're going to double down and continue doing that. Something like that is probably what I'm expecting. But the key is how they address some of the questions. And even more interestingly will be what kind of questions are being asked and by who. So what I'm looking forward to seeing is what are the big investors going to ask, and what do they care about? What are the public audience that don't normally do what we do and play Magic and have an understanding of what's happening in this environment? So on to specific predictions here. First of all, they're going to talk about mixed bag of product lines and product releases in 2022. They're going to say, hey, Dominaria did really well. Players love it. Brothers War is doing well. Players love it. 40K is, a great collaboration project along with many, many secret layers released this year. All great. And they're going to say those are excellent. Along the line, they're going to have to address that some products were definitely didn't hit the mark quite. For example, 30th anniversary, they might touch on that or just mention it in a kind of like an overall arching bag, along with Commander Legends Baldur's Gate, which was definitely a rug pull for everybody. And then some other products like Streets of New Capenna probably didn't do as well as the other sets aforementioned, for example, Neon Dynasty or Dominaria and Brothers War. And then they're going to talk about monitoring and adjusting for the future. I actually think they are going to make a statement about delaying some products due to product cycles, and then maybe potentially even limiting print runs based on numbers that they're seeing out there. They're probably going to say something like this, which is we are looking at adjusting our product release cycles. But again, given the design of Wizards and how we operate, a lot of these things are a little bit out, 2 years or so out. So these adjustments won't really hit you until 1 to 2 years from now. It's kind of an excuse, by the way, because just because they design a product does not mean they actually have to release the product on a certain day. They could totally change those schedules. So even if a product is ready to go, they don't necessarily have to release it. So that's kind of them giving themselves a little bit of a, a step down and like a back off easy type of thing. So that's just what that's going to be. They're going to say that even though it's not really necessary. They're probably going to have to address quality. I think a lot of players are bringing this up, that quality is really just not there with their products. Like recently, my Brothers War gift edition bundles, one of them, I bought 8 of them, but one of them just didn't even have a dice in it. Like it was just missing. I don't know how that could happen, but the product quality in QC is just really not there with some of the releases. So they're going to address it by saying something like, hey, we will continually, address and monitor for product quality and improve where we can. Again, very generic, like sounds good answers to these questions, right? A big one that they're going to have to talk about is competitive play. So I think they're going to address it this way, which is something like, hey, we look for more opportunities where we can support competitive play and potentially bring it back into a kind of like a Wizard sanction type of thing. A lot of the other, game developers, game designers, whatever, they don't really have to build a like Nintendo Cup. What they can do is they can just sponsor other people doing tournaments, etc. And Wizard probably will do that because in that way they don't have to dip like both feet in. They can just kind of dip their toe in and see if it's okay to go. Their commitment's going to be low. If it fails, it's really on the other vendor. So they're not too worried about potentially having problems. But as you can see, competitive play is what people are looking for, more events, which, by the way, on that competitive play, they're going to address and say, hey, we will have more events and opportunities for casual play as well, and that's going to be the highlight. Again, the push for casual is going to be pretty strong. So they're going to say something like, for example, we're going to continue to, push for Commander design because, again, people love Commander. It is the most popular format other than tabletop, which is the super casual one. I hear Mark Rosewater say that a lot. I'm not really sure who's playing that because realistically, yes, I get it. People buy the cards, but I don't think those people are playing at home randomly. I think there's a lot of store play and people who buy cards and open the packs and kind of just sit on it and then maybe bring a deck or two to store. But I think probably the most popular play is not tabletop. It's actually just Commander. And they know this too. That's why they're catering to Commander almost every single set. You don't have to have a Commander only set. In fact, every set is a Commander focused set now, right? Whether it be standard, modern, masters, everything, right? So yeah. They're going to talk about how they deliver product to end users. So they're going to say something like, we will continue to offer diversified ways for players to purchase Magic the Gathering. Again, remember, this is a conference call for investors, so they have to address the finance of how they're going to sell more product, because if they're not moving inventory, then their investors are not going to be happy. Unfortunately, that part does have to say something like, hey, we will continue to offer, of course, through the old school distribution LGS model, but also direct and air quotes Amazon, right? So there's going to be options there, and that's going to be pretty obvious to the investors, who will kind of like, I guess, listening to this. Secret layers. They're going to have to probably say something about secret layers in general, something like, hey, secret layers loved by everybody, and actually secret layers will continue to be printed, and we're going to continue that path because, well, secret layers make us money, and it's doing very well in the market. People love it. Also, it's more predictable. Because remember, secret layers print to demand. You literally have to pre-purchase it. Before with secret layer, you could purchase it, and right before they ship, they actually debit you. Now they just straight up charge it, so it's a pre-order. You pay them the money, they take your money to go to the printer and print, and then whatever the money they have left over, that's their profit. So it's pretty much a win-win situation. They pretty much can't lose with the secret layer at this point, right? Okay, and the last prediction I'll kind of put in here is they're probably going to evaluate demand, and cut down, for example, some print runs. So they're going to address the print run question by saying that they are planning to cut down some print runs. But again, offer more variety, because remember, this is the problem. If they say too much that's beneficial for a player, that's usually going to be bad for the investors. And if they say things that are going to be beneficial for the investor, like greedy stuff, then the player is going to be angry. So one of the things that they have to do for this Fireside chat is really just balance both sides of it. And so they're going to say they're going to cut down print runs, which helps the players to feel better. But then they're going to say, hey, we're going to have more variety. And then again, give players more ability to access the kits, sets, cards, varieties, special features, frames, showcase, foil that they want, right? They're going to talk about it this way. So that's what I'm predicting. And these are the topics I think they're going to address tomorrow. And so we'll see. I'll be there. You'll be there. Don't forget, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, we're all going to be there. Links in the description. Go check that out. And we'll see what happens. I'll see you on the other side. Solar Games out. Peace.